member of the European Parliament, Radoslav Sikorski, has likened Zarif to one of Hitler's Nazi ministers, Joachim von Ribbentrop, and slapped the Islamic regime in Iran. Iran claims to be an Islamic republic, but as this resolution makes clear, it is also one of the world's most repressive regimes. I therefore have some questions for the mullahs in Tehran. If you represent a God that is good, powerful and merciful, then why do you need to repress, torture and murder your people so much? The Polish politician and a member of the European Parliament, Radoslav Sikorski, said, "Now, your regime is a blasphemy and an abomination to every decent Muslim, every person of faith and every person of conscience. You have brought your country to such desperate straits that you are now signing agreements with China to give away your energy sector and to give away your critical infrastructure. They will not complain about your human rights abuses, but I'm not sure Allah will be pleased that you are becoming vessels to a godless communist regime," he declared. However, if you want better relations and the easing of sanctions with us, stop this repressing now. This is inhuman what you are doing to your own people, Radoslav Sikorski added. And one last thing. I have a request to the diplomats from our nation states and from European External Action Service. Next time you meet with Mr. Zarif, who is smiling Ribbentrop, just remember what kind of nasty regime he represents, Radoslav Sikorski emphasized. Charlie Weimers on Thursday slashed Swedish and other socialists in the European Parliament, called on them to stop softening the EU stance towards the Islamic Republic of Iran. The astounding Swedish politician and member of the European Parliament from Sweden since 2019 also asked his counterparts to repeat after him, "I support the aspirations of the Iranian people who want to live in a free, stable, inclusive and democratic country." Swedish citizen Ahmad Reza Jalali faces imminent execution in the Islamic Republic of Iran for refusing to spy on European institutions on behalf of the mullahs. "On behalf of the conservatives, I demanded sanctions against Iranian authorities," said Charlie Weimers. "I want you one day, like me, clearly say that I support the aspiration of the Iranian people who want to live in a free, stable, inclusive and democratic country," Charlie Weimers added. Ahmad Reza Jalali was sentenced to death after a grossly unfair trial that once again exposes not only the Iranian authorities' steadfast commitment to use of the death penalty, but their utter contempt for the rule of law. Philip Luther, Amnesty International Research and Advocacy Director for the Middle East and North Africa, said in 2017, "Like other dual nationals, Ahmad Reza Jalali is a victim of a state hostage-taking by the Islamic Republic. He was sentenced to death after a grossly unfair trial based on fabricated charges. We call on the international community to utilize all their diplomatic means to put intensified pressure on the Islamic Republic to halt the death sentence of Ahmad Reza Jalali," Iran Human Rights Director Mahmoud Amiri Moqaddam said. United States on Monday accused two Iranian intelligence officials of being behind the mysterious 2007 abduction and probable death of former FBI agent Robert Levinson. "We know how senior Iranian officials sanctions Mr. Levinson's abduction and detention. The regime also took deliberate actions to obfuscate the responsibility through an extensive disinformation campaign. Iranian leaders have lied over and over again," the New York Post quoted a senior United States official. Levinson, who would be 72, probably died in Iranian detention, but the United States doesn't know for sure, officials told reporters. The two Iranian men, Mohammad Baseri and Ahmad Khazai, who work for the Ministry of Intelligence and allegedly ordered Levinson's detention with involvement from senior members of the theocratic government. Levinson's nearly 14-year abduction has long been the subject of intrigue as his family demands answers. The MPs called for the IRGC to be prescribed as a terrorist organization due to his clear and enduring support for terrorists and non-state actors working to undermine stability in the region. The MPs say the UK should do more to constrain Tehran by prescribing the Islamic Revolutionary Guards Corps as a terrorist organization, and formally described the Ayatollah's practice of detaining British dual nationals as state hostage-taking. The UK government must call the arbitrary detention of foreign nationals what it is, hostage-taking, said Tom Tugendhat, the Select Committee chair. The charges, trials and convictions of British citizens on Iranian soil are a parody of a justice system, using young mothers and retirees as bargaining chips and leverage is an unacceptable form of diplomacy. According to the reports, the MPs also proposed the disintegrating Iran nuclear deal is renegotiated to include binding commitments to constrain its ballistic missile program. The IRGC targets foreigners for imprisonment to pressure the international community to comply with the regime's blackmail demands. Dozens of foreigners and dual national citizens are being jailed for years to be exchanged in thinly veiled hostage deals, such as the one in which the Obama administration paid the regime a rich ransom to free some United States citizens. Islamic agents arrested the father and brother of executed wrestler Navid Afkari while cleaning his grave. They were released after a few hours. Navid Afkari was executed in September for alleged participation in the nationwide Iran protest against the regime in Iran. Political prisoner Bijan Rezai released on bail till trial to be met. He was arrested by security forces in Shiraz, southern Iran. Agents seized his personal belongings and took him to an unknown location for posting anti-regime content in support of Navid Afkari on Instagram. A husband reportedly killed his 21-year-old wife in the western cities of Iran. No more details received. A Baluch citizen who was allegedly walking on a pedestrian crossing was fatally shot in his head by Iran drug control agents in southwestern Iran. The Islamic Morality Police raided a women's gym in Ahvaz, southwestern Iran, several arrested. IRGC-backed municipal forces destroyed 50 houses of impoverished people in Dehloran of Ilam, western Iran. A 17-year-old Iranian girl died by suicide in northwestern Iran. Zahra Ismaili died due to severe injuries in the hospital after setting herself on fire. She committed suicide because of a family dispute. In another horrific incident, Nasrin Jalilian, 27, died by suicide in western Iran. A 15-year-old child bride committed suicide in northwestern Iran due to a family dispute. Reza Al-Kassir, who lived with disabled brother and sister, committed suicide after his employer expelled him. He worked for the Haftape sugarcane agro-industrial complex. A group of citizens, drivers, workers, nurses, bird watchers, and contractors held protests in Iran in the past week over financial difficulties, unpaid wages, lost money, and job issues.